We are at the Grace Mykonos in Mykonos, Greece.
We're super excited to tell you all about our stay and everything you need to know before you book. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Max.
I'm Marin.
And we're Voyager Group. We post weekly videos with travel tips, hotel reviews, and videos from some of our favorite destinations around the world. So if you don't already, consider subscribing. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. It really helps our channel out.
Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the review where we'll cover our COVID safety rating, which is hopefully a temporary addition to our hotel reviews.
All right, so let's jump right into our review. Our first category is location.
Location, we rate 4 stars. The Grace Hotel is north of the Newport, which is a bit out of the way of the general attractions, the town center, and some of the beaches that are most popular on Mykonos.
It's set just above a beautiful beach here in Mykonos, and actually one of the few beaches in Mykonos that is a pure sand beach. It's actually really popular with the locals, and there's a bunch of little tavernas that are down there that are actually surprisingly reasonably priced.
One recommendation we have for the location is to rent a car if you plan to explore the island. Private transfers from the hotel are very expensive at 40 euros per way, so it is something to keep in mind if you're looking to save a couple of dollars.
And while they can call a taxi, taxis can get a little bit difficult here on Mykonos because there's only something like 34 cabs on the entire island that are actually technically licensed. It can get a little tricky. It's a lot easier to rent a scooter or a buggy or a car, explore the island on your own time, and they also offer free parking here at the hotel, which we'll talk a little bit more about in facility. Our second category is lobby and check-in.
Lobby and check-in, we rate 4.5 stars. Coming into the property was amazing. We had a seated check-in, they served us champagne, and we were checked in very quickly.
The lobby is simple and unassuming. It's not grandiose, and it's not like a big open air atrium. It's really more just a couple couches. They have some desks at the back, but you don't really ever go into that area unless you need to talk to the front desk later. You have your check-in seated under a nice terrace where you can relax, enjoy your welcome drink, and then head up to your room. The front desk staff was really nice when we checked in. We came with a lot of luggage because we'd been here in Greece for a long time, and they were super cool about lugging all our stuff to the very top of the property where our room is located. Which brings us to our third category, rooms.
Rooms, we rate 4 stars. This hotel is very small, very typical for Mykonos. It's only 32 rooms and suites, and right now we are in the honeymoon suite. As with most hotels in Mykonos, the standard rooms are very small. We are in the honeymoon suite, which is small. However, the roof terrace makes up for any shortcomings in size that this room has. It is absolutely spectacular.
It's a really beautiful room, and you're at the absolute top of the property, so you have this insane view over the top of the property and the ocean. You can see the port terminal to the far left, you can see the ocean and the end of the peninsula to the far right, and you just have this amazing view of Mykonos town and Delos. You see absolutely everything from on top of this room, and a lot of that goes for most of the rooms that have a sea view here on the property, because the property does stagger down the hill from the very top all the way down to the street. Most rooms that have a sea view are gonna have a pretty exceptional view in general, and of course the view from the pool is the same. So depending on what room you're looking for, there are a lot of options. One thing to note is that we do have a private pool, and I would say of the 32 rooms, there's probably about 8 to 10 rooms that offer similar kind of pool accommodations where you have your own private pool.
In the room, we did have an espresso machine as well as really nice bath amenities, so those were nice touches even during COVID.
One important thing to note is that the water in all of Mykonos is not drinkable. We were provided with 2 small water bottles when we first checked in on the first night. Those were not refilled, and the only option for getting water was to buy standard glass still water, which was a little bit on the expensive side. So if you are like us, you drink a lot of water, a good option is just to go down to the small mini market that's a few minutes away from here. For a 2-liter bottle of water, it's about €1. And if you're coming here during summer, it's really hot, so it's definitely the thing to do. Our fourth category is service.
Service, we rate 4 stars. Overall, the staff at the hotel are so kind, so helpful, and really love their jobs. Christina, the bar manager, even gave me a Grace hotel bag because she saw I was carrying a bag from another hotel and really wanted to make my experience special.
You can tell that the staff here takes a lot of pride in their work. They're part of a small team because this is a relatively small hotel. While for the most part, the staff has been super nice and we've had a lot of really good guest service experiences, there have been a couple things that have not been quite ideal and some areas of improvement that I think that they could have around housekeeping and particularly around the front desk, managing transfers and managing some of the other escalations that they might have. I think that that's something that they're working on as they've gone under new management in the last 2 years, and I think that eventually, I hope that this team will iron out some of the kinks, as we do know that there's some really passionate employees here that love the Grace Hotel, as well as a lot of guests that come back here year after year that are super loyal guests to the Grace Hotel, and so we're super excited to see that service level come back up. Our fifth category is dining.
Dining, we rate 5 stars. The dining here has been incredible. They only serve breakfast and lunch. They do not serve dinner on this property. However, the breakfast is included in your rate, and it's a champagne sit-down breakfast. It was a spectacular service. We really appreciate a good sit-down breakfast, considering a lot of things are buffets.
Food really was fabulous, and as Marin said, being able to have a nice sit-down breakfast, ordering off a menu, is something that is becoming rarer and rarer at particular hotels, and so being able to have that as your included breakfast, being able to enjoy champagne, fresh fruit juices, smoothies, and all of the different things that the chef is preparing on that particular day, all of them were made so well. I mean, honestly, the food was exceptional, and so that was a really exciting part about staying here. The lunch was also great. We had a fabulous lunch. Pretty much everything we had was very good, and the prices are in line with most lunch menus if you go to a nicer place in town, so you can expect to pay about the same. But if you are looking for other lunch options, you can also go down to the Taverna area, where right on the beach, they do have some really nice Greek places, and they range in price from reasonably priced to some that are a little bit more expensive.
Breakfast is served from 8 to 11. They do have an extended option from 11 to 12 with an extra charge for guests that want to sleep in and relax. Lunch is served until 6:45, which is fairly standard here in Mykonos, and the bar is open until 9 p.m.
As we mentioned, they don't have dinner, which is really too bad because the dining here has been so great. I hope that that's something that they bring back, is something that they offered before here, and a lot of guests I think would love to see that come back, as it is a little bit far to get into town and expensive to be able to have to take a transfer or a taxi each time that you do have to go to town. So it would be great to be able to have an option directly here on property. But as we mentioned before, the beach is also a great place to go find some nice restaurants. However, one advantage of not having that restaurant and having the bar close at 9 is that the property is super quiet at night. So if you are looking for a nice, quiet, relaxing place to get a little bit out of the scene of Mykonos, this is definitely a great place to come. Our 6th category is facilities.
Facilities, we rate 4 stars. The hotel does have everything you need on property, including a very small gym, a spa, and a beautiful pool area. In general, the facilities are great for guests looking to be out of town and yet still have access to some of those high-end amenities.
They do also offer an airport shuttle transfer that is able to take you to and from the departure and arrival terminals. They're also able to take you to the port, but you have to have an actual designated ticket if you're going to any of these areas because of Mykonos law. There's some complicated things around transfers, so again, it's great to take advantage of the free airport shuttle. Once you get here, I highly recommend renting a car because, as we mentioned before, they do have underground parking here at the hotel, which is complimentary, so you are able to park your car there. It makes it a lot easier to get around, and you don't have to deal with all the complicated taxi and transfers, which can be really expensive very quickly. Our final category, style.
Style, we rate 4.5 stars. The traditional architecture of the hotel is absolutely beautiful, and it's a very unique building. A lot of the rooms do have pools, which is a great addition, and they're all very private.
In general, the style here is simple, and it relies heavily on the architecture, the Mykonos architecture, with the nice big white beautiful buildings, beautiful pathways, very well lit at night. And I think particularly around sunset is where this property looks absolutely amazing. If you go down to the pool area in the morning, or really any time throughout the day, just looking out at the umbrellas and the reflection on the pool and out at the ocean, it just all ties together, and it just feels like such an amazing retreat.
I love all of the archways across the hotel. They are so beautiful and just a very unique feature.
I do think that in the rooms in particular, the decor is a little bit sparse, and I think that they could use a bit of an update, so I'm interested to see if that's something that they're planning coming up in the future.
Overall, we rate this property 4.3 stars. We've had a great stay here, and due to its quiet location, it's a very relaxing resort to spend your trip in Mykonos.
As we mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have our COVID safety rating.
Our COVID safety rating for the Grace Mykonos is 4 stars. Overall, they've done a very good job providing hand sanitizer and requiring that all the staff continue to wear their masks. While they did not place hand sanitizer or masks in the room like many other hotels have done during our travels, they do have ample amounts of it located in the public areas of the hotel.
It is also very advantageous that this hotel is almost entirely outdoors. So from the lobby to walking up the stairs, you're essentially outside, and really the only place that I would consider an interior area is the elevators. That's really the only place where you're going to be confined to something. We've taken the stairs most of the time that we've been here because it's much more convenient. You're essentially outside everywhere you go. One thing is they do require masks on property. However, as of a few weeks before this review, Greece did recently say that you no longer have to wear masks outside, while you still do have to wear masks inside. And so it's made it a little bit complicated for guests and hotel staff to understand exactly where that line is drawn when you have particular dining spaces that are kind of indoor-outdoor. But other than that, it has been a really good experience.
And since the property is so small at just 32 rooms, you do have a little bit of space and you're less likely to run into people around the property.
The last thing we'll mention before we wrap up here is COVID tests. when you're going back to whatever country you're coming from, chances are you have to get a COVID test, either an antigen or a PCR test. You can go check out our video that we've linked up here about our experience when we were leaving the Dominican Republic getting a COVID test for a bunch of information if you're headed back to the US, which ironically is actually still accurate even 6 months later. One of the few things that is. But one thing to note, if you are doing it here, Mykonos is a very small island and there are a lot of people. Right now it is the beginning of July. Season is only going to heat up more and there are only going to be more people here. So make sure that you organize in advance your COVID test if you do need one to be able to go back to your home country. If COVID is over and you're watching this video and you're still watching it this far into the video, thank you so much. I just want to thank you so much. You know, right now is the perfect opportunity to go hit that like button and make sure you subscribe.
We have linked some resources in the description below on how to get COVID tests and where to get them in Mykonos, as well as a blog post detailing our experience getting a COVID test in Mykonos. And to see photos of our trip from Greece and from this hotel, be sure to check out our Instagram at Voyager Guru and our daily tips on TikTok at Voyager Guru. And as always, I'm Maren.
And I'm Max.
And we're Voyager Guru. See you out there.